How's it going, YouTube? I am Stilo. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're a first-time watcher, I am Stilo. I appreciate you for stopping by on the channel. I'm going to do Nightingale Lane and Where Is My Husband? I never got around to doing this. I've heard the song, but I've never watched the video. I'm pretty sure there's a video. If not, I'll just do the live performance version. I've seen a ton of those clips on social media and like Twitter and Instagram, stuff like that. So I'll do that. And yeah, I will feature... I did RAYE's last album, and I did someone else did like a documentary or like a commentary on RAYE that I did a reaction to. I'll feature that at the end of this video. I like RAYE a lot. Very personal, very vulnerable, an amazing singer and songwriter. I know she gets compared to Amy Winehouse a lot. She's definitely from that branch, but RAYE stands alone, I feel like, as her own artist. I remember she said in a recent performance that people have compared her to Amy, or saying that she's trying to live up to Amy and can't, in so many words. And I feel like she's just now getting a chance to show her capabilities and what she's able to do, you know, for being in the shadows for so long and kept as a songwriter by the industry and taken advantage of by various producers and record labels. And she had to basically self-sabotage her songwriting career to stand alone as an artist. She had to take a lot of risk. And she gambled on herself, and she won. You know, she's enjoying the fruits of her labor. Well past overdue, justified in everything. She has the talent and voice to do that. And I think her experience of being in the industry for so long and being slept on and still pushing through and talking about her various addictions and hurdles and her vices, and just she's not afraid to show her human side, right? Dealing with relationships, her upbringing and stuff like that, and what she's learned, maturing into this artist, this wonderful artist that we see now, and this amazing woman that we see today, right? I like those type of artists, and I'm always going to be in tune with them. And you know, for you being a first-time viewer, one of the things that I return to back, if it's not me just talking about my life, I like to cover artists where I champion mental health, right? Because mental health is very important. And right, I know it's one of those buzzwords recently, just like mental health, but I really do care about it, and I really do put the artists first in perspective before I even critique, or if I even start a video. I want to know how their mental health is doing and how that relates to their art, because they're speaking to us through their art. Maybe it slaps too hard, or maybe the melody is too strong and it takes us away, but we may lose track that these are real people, right? These are real people at the end of the day, with going through real situations, real stuff, real trauma, real emotions on the day-to-day. And we're just getting this music that maybe for some of us it's entertainment, or it's a soundtrack to our lives for others, but we're looking to them to just crank this stuff out like machines, and they're not machines, they're people. You know what I mean? So I like to really detail that and really keep that perspective at the forefront of my critique and my opinion. So I've yapped enough. Let's get back into it. Nightingale Lane, and then I'll get into Where Is My Husband. I'll throw the video on for you guys. All right.
This is a song about the greatest heartbreak I've ever known. This song is called Nightingale Lane. On the street in the South London suburbs, where my first love kissed me goodbye. His lips were thin and beer stained and tear stained. Was a pain that made me colder now. After the oceans I cried, I made of steel, just floating now. But when I drive down this road, I reminisce. I drive slow, I've let them go now. Just see a ghost town, and sometimes at red lights with closed eyes, I tell myself to go on, just say somebody loved me once, and someday somebody will again. Like the way feel again. And looking back now, we never were quite right for each other, baby. But at the absence of passion in my life, I remember how alive love once was. And I sigh when I drive down this road. I reminisce. I drive slow, I've let them go now. Just see a ghost town, and sometimes at red lights it closed up. I tell myself, in fact I tell myself to go on, just see it. Somebody love me once, someday somebody will again. Like the way you love me on Nightingale Lane. And though we never made it, stranger, you showed me it's true. I'm capable of loving someone the way I love you. It was right there in June, next to Old Park Avenue. Standing in the rain, I watched them walk away. I've dabbled in love since, maybe every other summer. It never lasts long, they never stick around. I'm made of steel now. I believe someday someone gon' come along and knock them walls down, and knock them walls down. When I drive down this road, I'm reminded, though I've let him go now. Right here in this ghost town, right here on this ground is where someone once loved me, and someday someone will.
I hate to pause it right here because it's in the middle of like building up the roller coaster. Like this is like the ending stretch, is the climax. Like right here is the climax of the song, but I have to interject or I'm gonna forget the point. But I oftentimes, one, the most pressing is, you know, I don't know if this is still the critique, but a lot of people used to say that like R&B music isn't the same. There's not singers anymore, and a lot of people not singing about love anymore, and a lot of people not singing about anything vulnerable, anything real, or anything relatable, right? To my point, I always retort with, are you doing enough digging, right? Because, you know, algorithms and playlists, Spotify and Apple Music and all the different streaming services, it's kind of curated on its own based on our listening history, and it removes just the search and kind of just have to looking for it and crate digging as they would do in the eras ago, many moons ago, right? It takes the work out of finding an artist that you're going to connect with and going through. It takes going through some music that you don't like to actually find your taste, build your taste and what you're looking for, because it's out there, right? It's in abundance, if we're being honest, right? And I want to know if I'm asking the listener and the viewer right now that when you're watching is that it's like, do you still hear that critique and do you still believe that? Because I've always been strongly against that critique, right? That's first. Second, I've always, you know, they say it about Drake, they say about Taylor Swift in terms of like, do people just thrust themselves in incompatible and aching situations romantically, just have something to write about and to connect with? And I wonder what it's like for artists to have like loving relationships, and if their creativity, like it takes them a while to still write something as vulnerable and as strong lyrically, songwriting, even him getting into it emotionally, right? And I feel like to say that about an artist, I'm not saying this about Ray, but like that may strip the talent away from them and say then like you're telling me you have to thrust yourself in these type of situations that you know are bad for you in order to write a good song. Like you can't write a good song without having your heart broken. And I feel like it's calling them one dimensional, right? And I've heard Ray, like she has such a wide range of tempos and emotions and things that she will approach the record with in the tonality of her voice and the timbre of her voice and just like the color, right? I think she's talented enough to not have to lean on that oh, you need heartbreak in order to write a good song. I don't believe that about Ray. It may be true of some artists, right? And I do hope that, and I think I will get that. This music may contain hope. I think I will get happier times from Ray in between the heartbreak. A lot of the music on the last album was heartbreak and the trials and tribulations, but there was a lot of triumph in that. In the, like, capitalized, all caps, trials and triumphs, right? They were there together. That gives you the journey, right? Ray makes it very palatable, not necessarily palatable, because that means that she's safe. I don't think Ray is a safe artist. I think her talent makes the heartbreak sound so good that it doesn't drag on. It isn't just one sound. It isn't one dimensional at all. But I will say that maybe in the stage that I am in my life, I connect to the heartbreak shit. I do. I really do. But I want happier times for the artists that I love and I enjoy. And I've been in those situations. You've probably been in those situations as a viewer or a listener that, like, you like somebody, right? It doesn't mean they're good for you. It doesn't mean you're compatible. But you know that, like, the heartbreak is coming, and that rebound of the silence of them no longer there, and that silence that you're feeling is you getting your nervous system back. Like the roller coaster and the butterflies is your nervous system in flight or fright and freeze and fawn. Like, you put into yourself through that amount of stress that thinks you have that type of compatibility with them, that type of chemistry and that type of intensity, right? And then leaving, it feels like a ghost town. It's like, oh, this shit is empty. Like, I'm empty. Do I even have feelings anymore? And I hear a lot of people on social media saying that, like, you know, and when they're gone and you remove that person from your life that you feel like you're not compatible with, you feel that, like, am I really healed or am I just avoiding the bullshit, right? And I hear a lot of people say that, like, you don't know you're healed until you're in situations that would once trigger you, and you're able to use your past history and your past trauma as a learning experience for you to act rationally and not allow those situations to throw you in a frenzy, right? You know you're healed when situations that would be very chaotic, that would have you acting out of character, out of body, and in an anxious state, you know you're healed when you're able to approach those situations with more rationale, you know what I mean? And a more way to really listen to your body and listen to yourself and, like, okay, learning your triggers and learning stuff like that. As I relate to Ray on this is what you get from mature artists when you stay in the game, or it's game or industry, however you want to say it. And if the label or the industry doesn't spit you out, or if you don't lose your complete passion in it because you're dealing with the politics of the music industry, and you're able to grow and mature, which we rarely see from, you know, they shuffle artists out like this. They always have. And they're able to stay. You're able to get that maturation. And I love when we're able to see artists grow in real time, right? As people, right? And I think that's the type of album we're getting with this. Let's get back into it. I've made all my points. I'll let it ride now. I also said Nightingale Lane. That's not. I apologize for butchering the title. Nightingale Lane. And that's another point that I forgot as well. That, like, you know, you feel like you have this type of intense chemistry and this type of feeling for this particular individual, and you're wondering if, like, you're wondering if someone will ever love you again once they exit, right? Because the love was so intense and y'all bonded. And I don't know who said this. I can't remember the artist at the moment. I will probably after I cut the camera off. They won't love you the same, but that doesn't mean you'll never find love again. And that's where the courage and the faith and the hope comes in. It's just like, I will find love again. It may take some time, but now you understand what you like and what you don't like, and what you want in a partner and you don't want, and what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not, and what your boundaries are. You just learn. But let's get into Where's My Husband. I've heard the song. I just want to see the visuals. See if my camera's still on. Yep, camera's still on.
For $150. All tax situations, all returns. $150 all in. No surprises. Now this is taxes.
I can handle that for you. I can handle
Helping
that.
Adrian Brody prepare for his role as a TurboTax expert has been
83 million views is deep. Okay, all right, let's get into it. Yeah, well, Ray, if you ain't found your husband about 3 to 5 years, you know what I mean? That's the time I anticipate that I'll be, there enough to be a potential candidate. I'm available. All right, let's get back into it, man. It's the only reason this is not realistic, because as men, whoever is watching this, as a man, when have you ever been out and about in a wild and a gorgeous woman that you don't know is chasing after you? That shit would never happen. They bat their eyes twice and like, why didn't you catch the singles? Why didn't you catch the signals? I batted my eyes at you. I stared a little 4 seconds longer than I should have. If you really trying to get my attention, run after me and tap me on the shoulder, Mr. Vino. Are you available tomorrow evening for dinner? Oh, yes, I am, Ray. Oh, yes, I am. Here, take my number. Says nobody, and that's never gonna. All right, don't get me. This is rage bait. She out there running like Sonic the Hedgehog in heels. Out that bitch. The 200 meter. She running like she trying to get drafted. No, full on beat face. She got the earrings, the hair done, in a gown, in a presidential gown, and you in a full on sprint. Oh God, hell, that would never happen. I gotta see who this man is. Maybe y'all running after Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? They ain't running after Stilo like that.
Tell him I'm kind. Tell him I'm brown eyes to the feel it if he doesn't. I want it. I'm a big rock. Johnny Dine on the wave around. Nobody. Give me all that I can have a doubt.
Oh, find yourself and then love will come. Is that what the note said?
Your husband is coming.
Imagine you in the middle of Target, you're getting a comforter, and a beautiful lady walks around and says, I ain't gonna lie, that would get me. That'd be funny. That'd be funny as shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be like, oh, you like that Ray too? Oh, what else you like? Oh, that's cool. And then that, if you want me to ask you, that's a good intro point. Oh, you know, this is this nice spot out here that I've been waiting to go to, but I've never had anybody to go with. Would you like to accompany Stilo to this night? Some of you ladies got to make the effort, because like we in an era where like a lot of us is not approaching y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if you're a beautiful woman watching me right now, tell me how many times you've been approached in real life. You at Walgreens or the supermarket, anywhere on campus, anywhere. Well, I bet it's no more than 5 times. I bet most of the people DMing you, you might gotta send a signal. You gotta send a bat signal. You know, you gotta lead. You gotta lead me to it, because I can't. You know what it looks like to me. I was thinking about this the other day. You know what it looks like to me? Me approaching a woman. Hey, baby, hey. That's how it looks. Me approaching a woman out in the wild. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm annoying you. You know what I mean? Or have the potential to annoy you. Just say something. You know what I mean? I'll make the effort. Anyways, beautiful music. Hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful morning whenever you're watching me. If you stuck around this long and I didn't annoy you. Ray's album's gonna be fantastic. I'm probably gonna react to it, review it, whatever, how I chop it up. And yeah, like I said, here goes my review of her last album and the commentary of like her era coming up to this. All right, I'm out of here.